Joining us now with reaction, former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer. I know that in the time that you were press secretary, you tried to get along, you tried to be nice. It seems nothing you could do would ever appease that group that was in that White House press corps. Am I overstating it?
No, I don't think so at all. Look, I think that a free press is essential to a democracy. But mistakes like the ones that you're talking about undermine the credibility and the trust that the press has. And the problem is that if you can't trust one story or one source in a story, one of these millions of unnamed anonymous sources, which stories do you believe? Which sources do you believe in these stories? I think that's the problem, is that you can't sort of pick and choose one or the other, which stories to believe and which stories not to, when you see these mass amount of incorrect and malicious attacks on the president and conservative policies. But there's a bigger point here, Sean, which is that in the Brian Ross story, it moved markets. People lost money because of this mistake. And here's what I think the true egregious nature of this is. And what Brian Ross did in the clip that you played is something that happens all too often. They don't correct it. They don't apologize for it. They, quote, update it. And that's a cop-out. When they're wrong, they update their story and just say, we have additional information. When someone else makes a mistake or adds something to it, they say that they lied or misled them. They hold everybody else to one standard and themselves to quite another.
Sean, I even think it's bigger, because if you look over the last year, the whole Trump-Russia collusion story after a year has been debunked, has not been proven true. But there is a Russia collusion story. That's Hillary. Now we know, in spite of a year of denials, that she and her campaign and her running the DNC per Donna Brazil and their money, they paid Fusion GPS, that hired Michael Steele, that paid Russians for lies about then-candidate Donald Trump. And it spread like wildfire. Isn't that the same as colluding to influence the American people in the middle of an election with Russian lies?
Well, look, I've been in Republican politics now for over 25 years. I've seen this, whether you're talking about campaigns or on policy matters. The left-wing liberal narrative wins every time.
Yeah, I'm not asking
they
that,
dismiss
though. I'm asking that we have Russia collusion. There's a real story.
Oh,
she bought and paid for that phony, salacious Russian propaganda that got spread to influence Americans.
Well, it's not just that. You look at the Uranium One deal. You look at the number of speeches that Bill Clinton gave over in Russia and got paid for. I mean, there is a clear and concrete case of what they did with respect to Russia that is entirely ignored by the mainstream media.
All right. There's also something else that's happening here. You have now, for those that follow this show, you're familiar with it. And that is, we have discovered that Robert Mueller's team, that James Comey put the fix in with this other individual that works for the FBI that we all became known about last week, and that literally they're writing her exoneration without doing the complete investigation. Now, didn't the media get a little suspicious about 33,000 deleted emails in the bathroom of a mom-and-pop shop, that it did have classified top-secret special access program information on it? Mishandling information that type of information is a felony. Destroying that information is a felony. And then, just for good measure, she used bleach bit and acid washed the hard drives and then busted up all the devices that were connected to that. Now, the fact that that exoneration, Peter Strzok and James Comey wrote the exoneration before they investigated, I don't know anybody in the media that's doing their job. It's what they choose not to cover that also is corrupt to me.
Well, and you also remember that the DNC largely wouldn't allow the FBI's to even examine their servers, and no one seemed to have a problem with that. I mean, there's a lot about what happened last cycle that I think has largely been swept under the rug, and none of the key questions are actually being asked. And I think it's amazing how, when you have concrete facts on one side that should leave people to want to get a deeper understanding of what happened, that's ignored, and all of this salacious, hypothetical ideas is what we spend the time focusing on. I think our priorities are, or at least the media's priorities, are backwards on where the problems are.
It's never been this bad. My 30th year in radio, my 23rd year here at Fox, it has never, ever, ever been this bad. All right, you have some big announcement. Go ahead, hit us with it. What is it? Is it good or bad?
It's good. It's good. And I think it's largely driven off what you're talking about right now. I looked back at the coverage of the campaign, the transition, and the first 6-7 months of this White House and realized the stories that are being told are not an accurate represent of what President Trump went through to get the nomination, to transition to the White House, and then his first 6 months in office. And I'm going to write a book that'll come out in in the summer of 2018. If you go to my Twitter feed at Sean Spicer, people can sign up and keep track of when it's going to be published and get inside information. But I've decided that it is incumbent upon me to set the record straight and give people a real understanding of what happened through each of those crucial points in our history.
This was probably one of the most fascinating elections ever in that regard, considering all of the forces that were against Donald Trump and all the media that night that he won. It was like one big funeral. I look forward to it.
There's a lot of stuff that those guys got wrong, from the campaign through the transition through the White House. I want to set the record straight.
Good for you. All right, Sean, good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks.